Hello. Welcome. Seriously, welcome. Okay. I'm not gonna be awkward. So, welcome to the introduction to my podcast. I just gonna have to bear through the awkwardness of the, start. Because, I don't want to be cringe and have, an intro, hey, what's up, girl gang? Welcome back. No. Anywho, I'll stop now. I'll seriously stop. So, I have, a list on my notes of, kind of a structure for, this first episode, the beginning, the introduction, basically. So, I'm going to be, looking at that. First of all, the name of this podcast, kind of why I started this podcast, the meaning behind it, and then I'm going to go into, what this podcast would be about. So, the name of the podcast, Everyone's Big Sister Bella, kind of ties into one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast, because I'm the oldest of five including me, oldest of four not including me. I never know what to tell people when they're whatever. Anyways, so I'm the oldest, and I, obviously, since I'm the oldest, don't have, a big sister or big brother. And this is kind of, a form, if anything, for me, for my younger self. This is me, being a big sister to my younger self, and, this is all stuff that this is, not visually pleasing, I'm sure. Let me open the blinds. Maybe that will make it better. Not really. Okay. Sorry. I don't want to edit this because it's never that serious, but let's just switch over to here. Okay. It's still, Okay. We'll switch this way. This is Warden, by the way. Okay. But yes, so this is what I wish a big sister would have told me, and kind of I wish I would have had someone to watch who I resonated with and who made me feel it was okay with all the stuff that I was going through and all the feelings that I was feeling. That's a part of it. The second part of it is that I feel recording this stuff is kind of a way for me to get my thoughts across and keep them in a place, and I hope that it helps people and touches people, because I'm a psychology major. I want to have my own private practice in the future. Sorry, I just got distracted. There's police with vests standing at the bridge outside my window. Anyways, I'm a psychology major. I want to have my own private practice, and I'm specifically interested in holistic psychology, looking at everything from a whole, and food is medicine. And this podcast is kind of an outlet for me to talk about that, and it gives me a reason to do research. It gives me okay, well, what if I want to do a podcast about this? What if, and I've kind of this has been in the works. This is something I wanted to do, but I wanted to wait, and I wanted to actually make sure people would find this interesting. So I did a little test on my Snapchat, and created a group story, and whoever joined, and some people joined. So I wanted to see if it was interesting, and yeah, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, but holistic psychology, I want this to be an outlet where I can talk about psychology and the psychology behind adolescence and kind of growing up and going through your teens, living in hard situations, dealing with traumatic experiences, and just growing up as a girl in this world, and in the era of social media, in the era of OnlyFans, of girl power, but having a background in a Christian household, and then a split household. My parents are divorced, so being in going from one extreme, super Christian, super if you don't believe in God, you're going to hell. And then my mom, free and like liberal and like girl power, like to the max, like you can do whatever you want, like I support you with whatever, you can do whatever, like kind of like super strict, and then super free. Just touching on like that and giving like my input and my experiences, because like I just really like, if anything, this podcast is more so like on the off chance that there is a girl out there going through something similar of what I was going through, or like thinking the same things that I was thinking growing up, on the off chance that she sees this, or even he, on the off chance that someone who is in the similar position that I was sees this and is like, wow, like this person is like talking about what she went through and I resonate with that, and I also felt that way and feel this way now, but I don't feel comfortable like coming to terms with feeling this way. And I'll get into it more as like I do episodes and stuff, like kind of like what the feelings are. Like I'll do like, I don't want to clickbait, you know, like because like what is that, like that won't bring people to like watch and like continue. So like kind of like boys, parties, drinking, drugs, what else, like image, like relationships, familial and like friendship, and like boys. I've only ever had one relationship though, so I'm not really like, I don't know much about that stuff, but like that side of it, like boy-girl relationship, like romantic relationship, bringing in like what I've learned, what I wish I knew then, what I wish I could bring myself to ask someone then, and kind of like coming to like basically like I wish I would have felt empowered and felt like free to come to terms with the fact that it's okay I'm thinking differently than other people. It's okay I don't want what everyone else is doing. It's okay. You don't have to conform. And it's so hard because like, yeah, you've been told that, like peer pressure, like I was told that, like my dad always, if I remember one thing growing up, one piece of advice kind of that my dad told me, I don't know the Bible verse, and actually while I'm speaking I want to kind of search it up because it comes from the Bible, but basically show me who you walk with and I'll tell you who you are. I remember specifically always him saying that, like be careful who you become friends with. And my dad has experience. I don't want to speak on his like life because that's not my place, but he has experience of how friends can influence you to do things, and be careful who you spend your time with. And like one piece of advice, I wish I could go back to my old self, my younger self, and shake her and be like, Bella, you will find people. Because my mom would tell me that, like, you don't have to have friends, Bella. You don't, like, you will find your people. And like I felt so pressured to like just belong somewhere. And I wish I could go back and shake myself and be like, Bella, it's okay. You don't have to carry the weight of everyone. You don't have to think about everyone. You can be your own person. It is so okay to be your own person. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to not have friends. It does not make you weird. It does not make you uncool. For not wanting to go out and party and drink, you're not uncool. You don't have to conform just because your friends are doing it. Like, basically, like, stuff like that, you know? Like, in a nutshell, going through adolescence, forming your identity. That's a lot of stuff that I want to bring into, like, I want to bring psychology into it. I want to bring my experience. I want to give advice, what I've learned, what I wish I could have done, things that I've done and the outcomes they've had and what I've learned from that. So one of the things that I played around with the idea, and maybe I'll do for some episodes, I like toyed with the idea of like making it like an every episode thing. reading a journal entry, but I also don't have many journal entries from the past, and I also don't know how much into detail of my life and my personal experiences that I want to get into on here, because a lot of it, like, for example, like my traumas, like rough times growing up as like a child, like there's two sides to every story, and there's more than one person involved in the story. It's not only me. It's not only yes, it's my story to share because it happened to me, but it also includes my sister, includes my brother, includes my dad, my mom, my stepmom. It includes other people, and like this is the internet. Like this is like anyone can see this. This isn't private. This is like public. This is like made for whoever. So like I don't want to air too much out that like that's unfair, because this isn't their podcast. Like they're not like, you know, I feel like you can understand what I'm trying to get. Oh, back to what I can't, like, sometimes for me it's hard to multitask. Bible verse, show me who. It's so hard. Proverbs 13. All right, this isn't it, but like there's different versions of the Bible. This is CSB. I don't even know what version that is. It's Proverbs 13:20. Wait, let's actually search it up wait, hold up. Before I click on it, okay, I like to save my spot because the Bible app is tricky. Proverbs 13:20. Yeah, like that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. Show me who you walk with. I can't find it, but maybe I just remembered it wrong. Proverbs 13:20 says, "The one who walks with the wise will become wise, but a companion of fools will suffer harm." I don't know if I know it's a Bible verse, because like my dad is a very godly man. Anything you can say about that man, yes, everyone is imperfect. He has his faults, but at the end of the day, he always shared God with us. He always, at the end of the day, no matter what went wrong, he told us, look to God, pray, think. I'm getting a little emotional. But yes, that was something that he told me, and hearing stuff from parents and hearing stuff from adults, it doesn't resonate with like a kid, because like no matter what, like you can think, like at that age too, you're also, I like want to do research and make a whole episode about the psychology behind rebellion and share my experiences about rebellion, because I went through a rebellious phase, very rebellious. But for some reason you can't think when you're growing up and you're in your teens, like you don't think like, oh, they have experience, like they've lived life, like yes, I should listen to them because they do know better, they've went through things and they've experienced it. You're not like, and also a good thing to mention and a good thing to say is what I have learned is going through things teaches you lessons. Everything you go through and every action you take has a reaction, and it causes something to happen, and you should learn from that. And I wish that I could tell myself, and I wish that there was someone to tell me, like, listen, Bella, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. All I can do is tell you what I have learned and some experiences that I have been through and what they've taught me. But at the end of the day, that's not going to help you, because you're going to do what you think is best for you. But I tell you with my heart, after you do something, think about it. Think about what you learned. Think about, was that a good choice? If so, how can I do more things like that? How can I change the areas of my life to be more like this choice? And if not, what did I learn from it? How can I avoid this next time? You know, how can I take things out of my life that are similar to this and live a life that I'm happy with? because I struggled a lot with people pleasing. I was not secure in myself. I still struggle with that. Like, also, I want to make a note. I do not claim in any way to be higher than or that I have it all together, that I've learned everything, that I'm healed. I run from therapy. It's so ironic that I want to be a therapist, but I'll run from therapy. I've never had like an actual like solid therapist and done like solid therapy. I just had my first therapy session, and I think I'm gonna force myself to do an experiment and look at it that way. Like, this is something I want to do. This is something that I want to be. So why don't I actually take the steps to like see what it can do for me? Like, I see what it can do for other people, and I want to help other people get there. But in order for me to be good at being a therapist, in order for me to be good, just in general, I should do it. I should try it out. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm farthest from perfect, farthest from healed. No one is perfect. I fully believe in God and Jesus. And that's something I definitely want to talk about on here. And I'm not proud of it. I will come out and say it. I've had many prayers and I've talked to God about this. And I asked for wisdom, and I still am figuring it out. But I feel very shy to talk about God. I feel it's something that I'm not embarrassed. I'm ashamed that I'm embarrassed of it. I'll come right out and say it. I am ashamed of the fact that I am embarrassed of it, because I believe the only person's judgment who matters is God. Period. End of the day, I die, I'm going to face him. It's the only one whose judgment matters and who I should be thinking about pleasing. Everyone else doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, I am by myself, and who created me is with me. It's me and God at the end of the day. My whole life, people will come and go, but God is always there. He's always watching, and he knows. And I'm always there. So I struggle with the fact, I know that, and I really, like, throughout doing this podcast, I want to become stronger in that fact, that that's all that matters, and it's in his hands, and I believe that. But I will say, disclaimer, I'm ashamed that sometimes it's hard for me to talk about it because of how people see God. And so many people are so negative about it. Like, if you believe in God and you believe in Jesus, you're racist, you're crazy, you're delusional. You say you talk to God, are you crazy? No. When I say I talk to God, I pray. I read the Bible, I take in. Last night, or a couple nights ago, was the first time, like, I prayed right before reading the Bible, you know? I said, God, I'm going through something. I'm feeling ashamed of being embarrassed. I just had a huge life shift, you know? I was with someone for a whole year, dating them, and we broke up. I'm confused, God. I'm at a point in my life where I want to give it all to you. I want to give it all to you. So I flipped through my Bible. I was touching the pages as I was praying that, and I said, talk to me, God. Tell me who you want me to be, and I will be that person. So it brought me to the story of Job. And I'm still reading it. It's like up to 42 like things, like chapters, I don't know what they're called, but I'm still reading it, and basically it's just about a man who God did everything for, and then Satan comes and says, like, oh, he only believes in you because you've given him, like, everything. Like, take everything away from him, and I guarantee you that he's going to curse your name at your feet. He's going to deny you in front of you. So God says, okay, you can take everything from him, but don't, like, spare his life. And Job is, like, calling out, like, God, I don't know why this is happening. Like, you're going to provide in the end. Like, he's struggling. He's really struggling. So I'm still reading that, but I want to do some episodes solely based on that. I'm going to, obviously, every episode try and touch on God. I debated, like, praying after an episode, praying before, but I also one thing that has taught me of following God, and it's different for everyone. And that's something that I also have to come to terms with, is that it's believing in God and your relationship with God, it's different for everyone. I watched a George Janko podcast with this guy, Cliff, who talks about God, and he said, God judges everyone justly, fairly, and uniquely. And that hit. I watched that last night. That hit. Uniquely. My relationship with God is unique. So I want to say that, and I want to say that I know that I respect that not everyone believes in God, and I'm not trying to force my views onto someone. I grew up being told about hell. I wasn't told about the love of God, and I strayed from God. I just now am starting to be like, okay, God, I've been at dark points. I have seen what the devil can do. I have seen that he is real. So you know what? The fact that he's real, I know you are real. I never doubted that God was real. I was just running away from him because I thought his commandments weren't fun. That I was like, oh, it's more fun to do this stuff. It's more fun to party. It's more fun to do this, etc. I have been in dark places, and I have seen where that has led me. And I believe that God, like the story of Job, you have to be put into darkness to really truly appreciate God and really come to him and call him. And then from then, you have a choice. Everything in life is a choice. You can choose to keep following him and looking towards him, or you can go. It's a very narrow path. A lot of people don't go that way because it's hard. But at the end of the day, and I have had so many setbacks. I will continue to have setbacks because I'm not perfect. But I'm really trying hard to just look to God at the end of every day. God, I know I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I'm not worth anything. But you say I'm worthy. You sent your son to die on the cross for our sins. You say I'm worthy. Everyone else has everything to say about me, can say negative, can say good. It doesn't matter because you say I'm worthy. As long as I try my hardest to follow you, to love you, and to share that love and reflect that love in this world, that's all I can do. So yeah, I respect that everyone doesn't believe that, because the reason I believe in God is because I have felt that love, and I feel like forcing it on people, they're never going to come to God. Telling someone, oh, you're wrong because you don't believe in God, they're never going to follow God. It's your choice. And it really doesn't affect me at the end of the day. I'm not going to be there with you. Like I said, that same thing that goes for me goes for everyone, obviously. Like, I'm not going to be there with you at the end of the day. Like, you, and I believe that God is with you. If you don't believe that God is with you, that is on you. And maybe I'm wrong. You know? Everyone has right to believe. If you don't believe in God, I believe in God and I love his love, and it has brought me peace from my trauma. And that is also something I wish I could tell my younger self, is pick up the Bible and read it. I never read the Bible when I was younger. I kind of was like, I believe in God, but I was getting lazy with it. You know, I didn't know the love. I believed in him because I was told hell if you don't believe in God. That is why I believed in God, and there was no love in that. So I will encourage everyone that if you're unsure, or even if you're like, there's no way he's real, a whole month, start of the month, just say out loud in your room alone. You can even get on your knees. You don't have to, but that's what I did. And say, God, I don't even know if you're real. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if I'm just talking like a crazy person, but if you are real, if there is a God out there, then show me. And see what happens. Read the Bible every day that month. It could be a verse. It could be a story. It could be one like chapter of like a story, you know? I think the New Testament, Matthew is a really great one to read. For me, one that stuck was Ephesians. Love that book. But yeah. But I don't know how that's going to work. I might do just like main episodes. Like, I want to do a testimony. I want to go more into depth on like my beliefs and stuff. But yeah. Moving on. Oh, so I covered, like, the intro, and I'm gonna, I don't know, 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 I I wrote key things I've learned along the way of like leaving my house and coming into the world and being on my own. I don't want to make this too long, but I guess I'll touch a little bit on that and talk about that, and that'll be kind of like a little taste of what the future episodes are going to be like. So yeah, I had a unique situation when I was going into senior year. Everything was COVID, all online. I was in a very rebellious stage. I was lost. I was living for the approval of other people. I felt so uncomfortable in what I thought I wanted that I forced myself to think I wanted other things. Like, on social media, it has been normalized, like OnlyFans, sex. At a young age, I was seeing things about sex. I was seeing girls talk about stories, and it was funny, and there was the people commenting, hyping them up. My friends were talking about sex, drinking, and partying, and I just got very lost in that world. And I had always told myself, be strong. High school, it's gonna come, because my dad talked a lot. He went through his own thing in high school with like friends and show me who your friends are, I'll show you who you are. I said, no, I can keep it separate. I can be friends with other people and not be like them. That's how it started. And then before I knew it, I knew I wanted to stop, and I couldn't get away from the peer pressure. I couldn't get away. Okay. Growing up, I left my house at 17, my dad's house. It was a structured Christian, very much rules, very much you got to do this, like high structured house. I went to live with my mom, who was very free. You can do whatever you want as long as you're doing good in school. You're not doing hard drugs. She was fine with smoking. I was smoking. That was like a way for me to just chill out, you know. It was also something my friends were doing. It was a way to get invited places. Hey, we're gonna go smoke here, like you should come. Like, oh, okay, like you guys want me there, like okay. And like you're funny, Bella, like oh my gosh, like you're so funny when you're high, like, you know, teenage stuff. And then I hated being alone. I wanted to be with my friends. I kept seeing everyone post them partying, them seshing. Like, I wanted to be a part of it. I felt sad to be alone. I was not okay with being alone. I was seeing things on TikTok. If I wasn't seeing my friends on social media post what they were having a fun time partying, if I wasn't talking with my friends, telling them how they missed me, how they wish I was there partying, that was the main focus of my group's life. And I didn't want it, but I felt so sad that I wasn't a part of it. And it was really damaging. Like, if it wasn't for people being like, oh, I wish you were here, telling me about it, then to go on TikTok, on Instagram, and be reinforced that that is normal, that is fun, was damaging. And you know what? I wish I could go back and be like, Bella, I know you heard this, but you gotta think of it in a whole way, like a holistic way. Not everything you see on the internet is real. Yes, they might be saying they're having fun, but you don't know what really is going on. So I left my house and I went to my mom's, and then she let me go live with my grandma. My grandma took me in. Love you, Gaga. And all I did was party. That was the main focus of my life. If I wasn't partying, I was smoking. With that came sex. And, you know, it's hard for me. And it was really hard for me to come to terms with. I finally just came to terms with that year. I have a journal from when I left my dad's house. I was in a dark spot because, you know, I wasn't with my siblings. What I had known for, like, my whole life, basically, like, living with my siblings, being in that same house, like, being in the super strict, like, household, all of that was, like, not the case anymore. And I kind of came to terms with it that I had never even wanted to have sex. It was never about sex, and I had never enjoyed sex. I had so many nights where I was like, oh my gosh, like, I had so many internal, like, problems with myself. It was like, sex has never felt good for me. Like, am I a lesbian? And I'd be like, no, Bella, you're not. Like, stop. Like, don't think like that. And it was because I wasn't doing it because I genuinely wanted to have sex. It was more so for me that afterwards, like, talking to my friends about it and, like, being able to have something to tell without lying. Because I literally lied to everyone in my life. And I think I told some of my college friends about this because, like, when I came to college, you know, it was already, like, whatever. Like, you already did it, so whatever. But I lied to, like, everyone that I already had my first kiss, and that wasn't the case. In 8th grade, I told this to everyone in 7th grade, because everyone was kissing and dating at 6th grade, and I was so scared. I was like, my dad's so strict, like, I can't have a boyfriend, like, I don't even want to, like, I didn't talk to boys either, like, I didn't like being around people, and that always got to me, because my younger sister had friends, and I had a hard time talking to people. I never really had friends. If I did have friends, it was one. It was me and one other person. That was my nature. That is what I enjoyed until high school, sophomore year. I met a friend group, and that was fine. Like, I had a really good, solid friend group, and then we started drinking, and that's when the problems came. But yeah, I more so was, like, having sex for, like, the validation of what it brought me after than, like, actually because I wanted to have sex and because I was in love with someone. And now I believe, because I've been reading the Bible more, and in the Bible, I don't know exactly where, it says that when you have sex, you become one. So, like, it's similar, like, when people say soul ties, like there's, like, a thing, like, I would see on social media, like, oh, when you have period sex, like, you're, like, linking your souls. The Bible says that sex in general, you're becoming one. And that should only be with one partner, your husband. So I have made the choice, now, like, I've had my battles with sex. I've had people validating me for having, like, sex with friends, like, guy friends, like, just situations, you know? And I think about, it's just so hard because you get so lost and you get so caught up in, like, the validation of what other people are giving you, and it's just so hard. I'm thinking of this one so I lost my virginity. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Mama, if you're listening. I lost my virginity in junior year? Yeah, I think. Junior year. Yeah, junior year. To the boy. No one knows this. I don't have anything to be embarrassed about. It's my life, whatever. So I lied that I had my first kiss. I had never talked to boys. My first kiss was with the guy who took my virginity in junior year. I had alcohol was involved one night, and that was when I had my first kiss. It really bothers me, and I never came to terms with it because I started believing my own lies. I gaslit my own self that I was like, oh, that wasn't my first kiss. I never let myself stop and think until later, like, in my life, when I started meeting people who were like the boy who I was in a relationship with. Like, I am so grateful for him because he kind of, like, validated, like, what I was thinking way before I got so lost and caught up in, like, the temptations of the world. Like, I didn't let myself stop and think, Bella, your first kiss, you can't even remember your first ever kiss with a guy, and I have to live with that, and it hurts. That I can't even remember because I was drunk. That was the first night I ever got drunk. Like, I genuinely can't remember it. I remember that I kissed him that night, and then a couple weeks later, that same boy took my virginity. And that is not a memory that I hold dear to my heart, and that hurts. And I wish that I could really have used myself now, and that's funny, like, couldn't everyone? Like, I just really wished I really wish I had a big sister to talk about stuff before I did it, because I'm the oldest, you know. I was the one who had to keep it together, you know, especially with everything that went on in like my houses. I'm the oldest. I had to take charge. I had to make sure everyone was okay. I had to be like, you know, guys, like, I was the one that they came to when they had questions or advice or wanted to talk. Like, I couldn't go to my mom because she love her to death, but we just have very different views, and I also had issues with being real with someone, and I didn't have someone who I thought would feel the same way. And probably, maybe if I had, you know, mustered up a little strength, if I had talked to maybe my dad about it, but there's no point in thinking about that. But moral of the story is, I wish I would have had someone to talk to before I just made these decisions, and that would have kind of validated me, and, you know, been like, hey, Bella, like, you know, it's okay to be seen as not cool. It's okay to not be advanced. It's actually, ironically, better to not do those things. In the long run, it doesn't matter if you could compare sex stories, if you could say, oh, I got with him, oh, I did this. In the long run, if I had the chance to say to my kids later, if I could look back and reflect on my life, it would make me so proud if my first kiss, if my first time was with someone I loved and eventually married. If I had just... There's so many ifs and there's so many whatever, but I was so, back to like my point of saying this story, I was so lost in the validation. It was like, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. You start to want to belong. You start to feel out of place. This is how it went for me. Like, you start to feel out of place. Your friends were like weird. Like, I had, like I said, always had one friend, and it was like me and this one girl, and she was in the band. And obviously, like, in movies, you can watch a movie and know that that's weird. Like, me and this one girl who was like weird, like, it was just me and her. Like, you know, I wish I would have, like, had someone with actual experience who I, like, related to, like a big sister who I, like, looked up to and was like, okay, like, you're actually, like, I, like, want to listen to you, like, you're not my parent, to tell me, like, it doesn't make you not cool. It doesn't make you not cool. You're thinking in such a small timepiece mindset. This isn't what the real world's like. And in fact, doing that will make you, and some people have their way of living, and no shame to you if you're living like that, but this is kind of for the people who don't want to be like that, who sometimes feel pressure that that's what's fun, that's what's cool, that's what gets you attention, that's what makes you have friends, that's what guys want, that's whatever it was. And it's so, I feel a little pathetic saying it. Like, really? The only reason you had sex wasn't because you actually wanted to, it was because you wanted to feel cool and caught up? Like, it sounds pathetic. It's what happened. It's what was. And it is pathetic. And I wish I just would have had someone to talk to, you know, or have someone to watch videos like this who were real and who went through it and regretted it. Regret is something that is so good or so bad. And it comes back to, like, the choices and, like, thinking about learning from them. Regret can lead to self-hatred, can lead to more regret because you're so, like, down and, like, you're like, ugh, whatever, like, you hate yourself. It can lead to self-hatred. Did I already say that? Yeah. Anyways, or regret can lead you to a place of transformation, can lead you to a place of self-awareness, and can bring you to a place of, I regret that so much. I never want that to be the case ever again. And in my case, unfortunately, so unfortunately, like, I can never take this back. It took me hurting someone else. And myself. I was literally hurting myself. Like, these days, sex is seen as something, like, so, like, making out. Sex is the new making out. Like, why is it normalized? First of all, the point of sex is to have a baby. That is what sex is for procreation. I think that's the word. Making a baby. That's what sex is. But now, because of social media and whatever, sex is seen as the new making out. And I felt like everything I was watching, everything that was coming by Tana Mojo, my friends, just all of these influences on social media and the outside world that were saying that sex is something that's good. Funny sex stories are something that makes you popular and give people laughs and make you seem as like, oh, if you had sex, that means you're pretty. That means you're liked. It does not. Trust me. Oh, I was thinking, and what made me share that story was that there was this boy, who I really liked, and so many regrets about this, but whatever, it's in the past, like, literally junior year. There was this boy that I really, really liked. He was so sweet, but I didn't have confidence. I didn't think he liked me. How could he possibly like me? We moved really slow. We started off as friends. We hung out, and then we would cuddle in his bed and take naps, and that was my first time ever cuddling with the boy. I was super insecure. I was like, he doesn't like me. Like, he once told his friends, because also he was a stupid teenage boy, oh, we cuddle as friends. Like, I was like, oh, okay. And then one day we were hanging out, and he finally kissed me. And the night before was the night that I had, swiped the card, and I had to tell him, I couldn't like not, I don't know. I had to tell him. It felt wrong. And I'll never forget. One day he looked at me, like, this isn't a part of the story, but he literally was a good kid and, like, could have been good for me. And if anything, if I wish I could, like, go back to myself and taught myself a lesson. And this is one of the instances where I wish I wouldn't have run to friends who didn't have the same ideas as me, who didn't live my life. At the end of the day, your friends can give you advice, but they're not in your position. They're not in your shoes. So you can go to people for opinions, but don't do what people are telling you to do. Do what you think is right and what you want to do. But anyways, one day he looked at me and he was like, Bella, you're just a gem. Like, don't let anyone make you feel anything. You are a gem. Anyways, back to the story. He said, okay, blah, blah, I don't remember exactly, but he said, I still want to be with you. I would just need to have restrictions. Like, you wouldn't be able to see them anymore. You wouldn't be able to hang out with them. Which is so valid. Like, we were literally, like, slowly but surely, like, starting a relationship. Like, I actually really liked him, and he did really like me. Like, looking back on it, like, we could have really seriously had a fallen in love, and, like, it would have been the love story that I wanted and that I had always grown up. Like, every girl, whether you will admit it or not, you grew up and you want to meet that guy that makes you feel so happy and makes you laugh and hypes you up and makes you feel like a princess. And we were gonna have that, and it's so valid. But I heard that, and I was like, you don't want me to see my friends? Like, who do you think you are? Like, I took it like my dad, and you're not my dad, you're not my parent, you can't tell me what. I wish, and after that, we never spoke again. Me and him never spoke, and everything went downhill after that. Things started happening bad more and more, and, like, that plays a lot in my head when I think about this stuff, because it's like, I was so quick also to text my friends, and they heard that, and they were like, who does he think he is? He's such, like, a man, like, oh, they just want to control women. I wish that I would have had insight, and someone, a girl who, like, I was friends with or who I look up to, like a Tana Mojo, but that said, just because a man tells you to do something does not make him controlling. Take a second, stand back, get out of your own shoes, and think, is what he's telling me to do, like, why is he saying that? What could be, like, making him say that? And do you think that it would benefit you? Because, like, if I had taken a step back, if I had literally just thought, not acted on, like, what my friends were telling me, not acted on, like, offense, literally thought about it, okay, if I had went home that night and thought and sat and said, okay, Bella, you said you turned him down, but you really, really liked him. He made you really happy. He was perfect in every single way. And your friends, you literally don't remember your first kiss. They're your friends at the end of the day. Like, just your friends. Like, what benefits you get out of them? Also, this kid was a good friend. I really liked him. He was perfect. He was a good friend, too. And, I wish I would have just thought about it. And then I would have come to the conclusion, like, you know what? Like, he isn't like that. He's not one of those people who are like, I'm trying to tell you what to do just because I want to control you and I don't want you to see them. He doesn't want me to see them for a reason, because I just had sex with one of them. Of course not. Of course not. If we're going to be starting a relationship, he doesn't want me to be friends with people like that. Validly so. But yeah, I'm excited to be doing this podcast because I hope that I can be someone's, like, I say Tana Mojo and, like, Trisha Paytas vibes because that's who I watched a lot when I was, like, a girl. That's who, like, my friends watched, and that's who they liked. I'm hoping that I can reach a version of myself out there right now, growing up and going through the same things that I was going through and with the same beliefs. And be there Tana Mojo, be there Trisha Paytas, you know? That's my hopes, and that's what I pray for this podcast. Obviously, like, it's for everyone also, but, like, that holds a special place in my heart. And yeah. Oh, okay. I put a bunch of quotes in, like, the thing that I wanted to say that I've been thinking of, because, like, slowly but surely, okay, let me backtrack. So I have been, like, waiting to do this podcast, and I also, like, I support myself on my own. I pay my rent, I pay for my clothes, I pay for my food. Like, I don't have the money right now, and I want to be smart with my money to buy equipment. So I'm just recording this on my laptop. I'm also doing a voice memo, like, sorry if the quality is bad, but also, like, I'm not sorry, because it's still, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter the quality. Like, I'm just gonna say the same thing, even if the quality was better. Like, really doesn't matter. Just because it doesn't have good quality doesn't make it any less valuable or any less, like, me. And I've been like delaying this because, yes, I am healing, and yes, I am trying to be strong, and I hope that this podcast can help me be a little more accountable. But I still am very much concerned with what people think of me. It's a normal human thing. I think Everyone has it, whether they want to admit or not. You care about what people think about you. Sometimes that happens to me. Like, I forget where I was going with it. Oh yeah, but so throughout time, I've been I had this idea in maybe like February, or what comes after February, Marchish. And I've been like, okay, I'm always so quick to do everything. Like, this is something that's like I actually want. This is something I actually care about. This is something that like I want to make I want to make something good in my life. Like, I want to make it like a priority. I want to make it like, I don't want to just like, I don't want it to not be good, you know? So I've been like writing little things down that have popped into my head, and I've been saving it, and I just wrote these quotes down among other stuff like that, like little episode ideas, like things that come to me, because, you know, like just things pop in your head. Surround yourself with people you want to be like and who challenge you to be better. That's what I'm gonna step into now in this era of my life, is forming friendships with people who inspire me and who challenge me to work hard and be the best version of myself. It's okay to be alone. Sometimes it's better. Touched on that. This one is like, if you just left your house and you're going into the own world, and you're like into your own world, and like you just left your house, like you're going to college or whatever it is, you moved out, like you're free. You can live however you want. Just because you grew up like doing things a certain way doesn't mean you can't change that. It's your life now. You're not under the like jurisdiction of mom or a dad or a whatever, a guardian. It's your life. You are your parent, so be careful. Parent yourself, but do it however you want. It's your life. What you eat affects your mindset 110%. I was eating only like junk food, greasy foods, like a bunch of stuff, and I found myself literally getting so overly upset and angry. And it's just like, if you're not eating good and you're not eating like whole like good food, it's gonna not make you feel good. Like, that one's self-explanatory. It might taste good in the second, but in the long run you're gonna feel like poo. The next one is also one I'm stepping into now, and I have to learn to be a little better at, but invest in yourself. Spend money on things that benefit you long term. Like, is going out to the bar and getting drinks going to benefit you long term? Or is spending money on that skincare product that makes you feel good and makes your skin look good, and therefore enhances your confidence and makes you actually want to do better things, you know? Is going out to eat and getting that chimichanga. I don't know why that just popped in my head. I've only ever ate a chimichanga once, but is going out to eat and getting a burger and fries better for you in the long run than going to the grocery store and cooking? Because you may think it's annoying to cook. You may think, oh, I hate cooking, it doesn't taste good. But cooking is an act of self-care. You are making food for yourself. You are taking the steps to prepare something that's gonna nourish your body. Think about it. Yeah. So, yeah, that is basically a little gist of what this is going to be about. I really honestly, like, was not expecting to talk about what I talked about. Mom and Dad, I'm sorry. It's important for me to talk about, and like what I said, like, I'm my own person, and, like, they can assume, like, I was a very rebellious teen, like, what are you gonna do? At least I learned from it, and that is what I hope is the message that has come across. Okay, actually, just something. So, ending thoughts is, I want to ensure that people don't think that I'm coming from a place of where I think I'm better than anyone, or I know more, or anything. That the soul, like, not soul, but the main purpose of this is for those young people out there who feel the same way that I feel and haven't met anyone, haven't met any friends that reinforce that that is, like, normal and that's okay, and you can belong in a group that doesn't go against what you want and what you actually believe at the end of the day, and doesn't change your morals, and doesn't slowly change who you are and make you become someone who you're not, and that one day you'll literally, like, realize you're like, wow, I'm in such a deep hole and I can't get out. And I want to ensure and, like, make it, like, it's important to me that people know that, like, if you're content doing that, if you're content with partying and, like, sex and all of, like, that stuff, I'm not judging, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. This is just kind of, like, saying that it's not a bad thing either to think the way that I'm thinking. It doesn't make you rude. It doesn't make you sexist. It doesn't make you not girls supporting girls. It doesn't make you any there's no negative connotation in viewing it this way. And that is something that's so hard, because I feel like now I have been seeing a lot more people talking, like, girls talking about the stuff I'm talking about, but I don't know. I'm me. Everyone's different, and I still want to do this, but I want to make sure that I don't offend anyone if you don't feel this way. Just respectfully, this podcast isn't for you. And no hate, no shame. I love everyone, and I want to, if you're my friends and you think I'm, like, regretful of knowing you or whatever, like, everything happens for a reason, and I have enjoyed friendships. Like, I'm not completely, like, that friendship ruined my life. It's just, that's not who I wanted to be, and I let it become who I wanted to be. Not saying that who you are is bad, but it's not who I wanted to be. And yeah, I should stop talking, because I really fear that sometimes I don't know how to get my, like, words across and, like, what I actually feel across. But at the end of the day, the only one who can judge me, not the only one who can judge me, but the only one who's judging me that matters is him up there, and he knows what I think before I even think it. So yeah, on that note, bye. Bye, thank you. And I hope that you guys continue to watch if you enjoyed, and anyone can message me, and if you want to talk, and honestly, like, challenge me. If you, like, find something, like, you want to say something to me, like, say it. Like, DM me, text, I don't know if you have my number. Like, I just got a new number too, so not a lot of people have my number, but DM me. Yeah, basically DM me. And we can chat. Like, yeah, we can chat. I'll leave it at that. Warden says goodbye, and I say goodbye, and thank you.